Alrighty, hey there guys, how are we all doing? Alright, before I get starting to read the stream, I do want to apologize for the fact that the stream just ended last night. Here, I'm guessing Twitch had an issue. So, yeah. All you missed after I skipped this, because it was while reading this stream that I did it. I need to get used to basically doing this. It's to the point to the side where nothing is, not where my TV is. I need to get, yeah. Anyway, the cutscene basically just had Seth tearing up, Cook and Mac asking her what's wrong, and before she fully explains, the cutscene ends. Yeah, it really does. It wasn't a glitch. That's literally where the cutscene ends. Alright. I do a little bit more explaining at the end, at the VOD part of the last stream. So there is a scene there is a thing of me basically explaining this again. So if you're watching this immediately after, you already know all this stuff. So now I'm going to hide the webcam so we can give a second attempt at reading Seth's dream. O wondrous beast in any era, proud descendant of the white-winged clan. It's like the white-winged dove singing a song just like she's singing. I actually like that song. It's a really good song. I always thought that song was called White-Winged Dove, not Edge of 17, you know? It wasn't until Spotify that I learned that. Shut up. You alone are my irreplaceable companion. Would it anger you to hear me call us two of a kind? Were we not, in fact, a perfect combination, you and I? Bound together by a single thread. That gossamer thread we know as loneliness. I'm going to let the comments know they're good to join in while we're doing this. Eniera, I owe my life to you. Not, of course, that you saved my life in the ordinary sense of the word. Mine is not a life that can be lost under any circumstances. It is an irrevocable burden. I will not die. I cannot die. And therefore, my life was not for you to save. O Eniera, what you saved, now I see, was not my life, but my heart. Back then, long centuries ago, I was a pirate, the only woman pirate in the open seas. Seth Bowman. That name was known to all who plied the sea. Some spoke my name with fear and trembling, others voiced it with deepest admiration. Some even called me the righteous buccaneer. Nor were they far wrong, I'd say. Let's get my chair real quick. For some reason, the wheel segments of the chair are starting to basically fall out. I don't know why. Why? It's like, I know this is an old chair, but it's like, yeah, weird. Oh. The pirate ships I commanded had rules that were clear and strict. We targeted only one kind of vessel, those opulent passenger ships the wealthy boarded for pleasure purposes. We put a bit of scare into the passengers, of course, maybe rough them up a little, but killing was strictly forbidden. All we did was squeeze a few drops of treasure out of the purses of those who had more money than they knew what to deal with. We traded our booty for cash with shadowy dealers, and money was shared in the world's dens of poverty. I would cringe at being called champion of justice. We pride ourselves in being far more than villains. Just gonna turn my screen down. There we go. I became a pirate for one simple reason. I hated the law. I hated even more those who fought the law for their own self-aggrandizement. In a word, I want a life of freedom. Whenever I stood at the prow of a pirate ship slicing its way through the skies, I viewed the vast ocean stretching out beneath the clear blue sky. I enveloped the joy of having taken limitless freedom in my own two hands. True, I need not travel fear of death and aging known to all who count as human. And because I would neither die, age, nor die, infinite time means for me infinite freedom. Not bad, wouldn't you say? I would spy the ship that would be our day's glory. I was always the first to board it, springing lightly onto their deck to shout, "I am Seth Balmore. Now be good and hand over your money and valuables." Then, taking goody with snatch, my men and I would rise a cry of victory and leap back onto our ship. I was absolutely free. Nothing stood in my way. Taking a little bit of a water break. Eternal life overflowing freedom. Not bad, wouldn't you say? Righteous Buccaneer? What kind of fancy pants nonsense is that? How about pirate, bitch? Of course, one always hears such jealous ravings in all walks of life, especially so in the biggest world of pirates. Needless to say, I knew I had many enemies. Even a child realized that being called a righteous Buccaneer could only increase the number who hated me among such raping and pillaging brigands, pirates of the sea. But I didn't care about that. I was stabbed with a knife and blasted with a cannon, and I still would not die. Okay, I want to see an immortal blasted with a cannon. Would that basically just turn them and make them into pieces, and would they regenerate? Would they regenerate their forms like Cell or Majin? Like Cell or Namekian, or would it be like Majin Buu? Immortal Seth, they called me. And it was literally true, not just a figure of speech. Excuse me. I won't get in your way, I told the other pirates, but I won't let you get in mine either. I was afraid of nothing and no one. I lived the way I wanted to live, and wouldn't or shouldn't have let anyone interfere with me. I went wrong only once, but it was all it took. A moment with carelessness, I let them capture me. Of course, that alone was nothing for me to be afraid of. As they keep mentioning, I can never die or age. It would have done them no good to try killing me, and they knew it. The most they could do would be to rough me up below and threaten to make it worse for me next time. They had to do something to show their men how tough they were. They didn't just let me horn in on a pirate game and it never happened. So, I said, hurry up with torture, will you? I haven't got all day. We were in a cave on a desert island. I was in handcuffs and leg irons, surrounded by half a dozen huge men, all well-known pirate captains. One of them was holding a long, thick chain. I also want to know what would happen if an immortal had their wrists slit. What would that do? I know these are really messed up thoughts to have, but honestly, I'm actually legit curious. Curious what you would do if you did either of those things to an immortal. It's sick of me, sick to my stomach looking at your sweaty faces. Come on, hurry up and beat him with a chain. Would you rather strangle him? Sure you choose, hurry and get it over with. The men laughed out loud. Strangling you they would probably wake back up after a little bit. So honestly, that one I can understand. Hurry and get over with, said the leader. Too bad for you, Seth, but this punishment's not the kind that can be hurried. I'm just sorry we can't stay with you at the end. Yeah, chimed in another man. Like a monster like you, we humans don't have all the time in the world. Okay, men, let's make it fast, the way the lady wants. Licking his lips, the man with the chain approached me. And two others grabbed my arms from the side. They were not going to use the chain as an instrument of torture, but to rob me of my liberty. They chained me to a gigantic boulder in the cave. They were laughing so hard they could hardly contain themselves. This we need, eh, Seth? Sand road for you. You can't cheat, you can't stab you to death. This will just lock you up. You'll never come back to this island again. Even a half-baked pirate like you knows this place is not on any sea lanes. No fishing boats even. And now, right about now, your men's gone off looking for the wrong island. Once know we brought you here, or none of our crews know where you are. Nobody's gonna save you, that's for sure. You'll be in here forever. Can't move muscle and can't even die. All of yourself for the rest of eternity. With that, the men walked out of the cave, leaving me there with a single lantern. Hours, I screamed. Don't run off like that. Don't do this to me. The only response was the hollow echo of my own voice in the cave. Lantern and the men behind me was not as tremendous kindness, rather the opposite. It was a prop in their little drama. When it finally ran out of oil and went dark, it impressed me with the weight of eternal solitude. As long as the lamp kept going, I was filled with rage for the men. But when the oil was running low and the flame began to flicker, deep anxiety assaulted me. Unable to move, I stared blankly at the flame. Eternity. This world is no such thing. Perhaps it should not have. Solitude. I was always alone. Or more precisely, I always ended up alone. It was my destiny. I could be surrounded by companions whose feelings matched my own perfectly. I could share the deepest love with no. In the end, I would always have to lose them. You know what it feels like to see countless others succumb to death while you yourself on the road of endless life? But in your case, Seniera, you have some idea. As I watched, the lamp in the cave went out. A world of darkness spread out before me. And there I was, alone. No more would I taste the sorrow of parting, but neither would I be able to taste the joy of meeting, eternally, without end, alone. I had not tried shouting. People would shout and scream for one reason only, because they want someone to hear them, because they believe there's someone somewhere who hear their cries. I did, however, shed tears. Which is not to say I wept. There was no way that the immortal woman pirate Seth Balmore would ever break down and cry. A tiny tremor through the darkness. All it was, that I noticed. Oh, tears were coming out of me. Really, that is all it was. The hours passed. Or perhaps it was days. In darkness, I lost track of the flow of time. There's something else I lost track of. If all there was left for me to do was stay by myself, struggling against eternal solitude, even incapable even of rotting away, then what was the purpose of my living in the world? Perhaps the men who trapped me here had been right. Unable either to age or die, perhaps I was some kind of monster. And why was such a monster living in this world? What was I supposed to do here? I did not know the answer to that. I would never know the answer to the end of my never-ending life. I felt frustration, sorrow, but above all, fear. Eternity was frightening to me. Solitude was frightening to me. I might have been trembling. Or, without even the energy for that, I might have been utterly drained. Whatever it was that I was feeling, that is when it happened. Niera, that is when you first appeared before me. A tiny burst of light softened the darkness. It came a voice, almost before I could wonder what it was. And from the light, almost before I could wonder what it was, there came a voice. Are you too trapped in the prison of solitude? Who is that? In the light, a flash of white wings. Then, with a sudden increase in size and brightness, the light seared my eyes. Accustomed to total darkness, my eyes could not stand the glare. For an instant, they could not see anything at all. Grimacing, I clamped my eyes shut before darting to open them little by little. There before me hovered a pure, white, glowing beast. Its white wings were breathtakingly beautiful. How beautiful you were, Aniara. Yours was not a floor beauty. No, it was subtly different. Your beauty wore a cloak of loneliness. I am like you, said. When I cocked my head to look at you with puzzlement, you continued. I have been searching for someone like you for a very long time. You spoke slowly, majestically. Uh, oh, immortal woman pirate, you and I share a single destiny. You knew who I was. Shumi. Together, let us escape from the solitude and make our way together, you said, your eyes locked on mine. Escape from the solitude. The words continued ringing in my ears. But I did not know who you were. I could not be sure what you were, nor could I leap joyfully at the invitation of one I could not tell as friend or foe. Who are you? I asked. I am Aniera of the Whitewing clan. Whitewing clan? I had heard the name before. The Whitewing clan were said to be wondrous beasts that had become extinct in the distant past. I have heard that the Whitewing clan died out long ago. I am the last of their bloodline, the only survivor. Indeed, as I said, the last. Why did you speak of solitude? At that point, almost before I knew it, a weak, almost self-mocking smile crept over my face. I felt myself lowering my guard as I spoke to you. My chains, however, were digging even deeper into my flesh and shackling my heart as well. You used the phrase prison of solitude before. It's true. This is the prison. Being alone for eternity is a prison without bars. Although, I will admit, pointing out the logic, I'm pretty sure like after maybe like 10 or so years, those chains would become rusty. So Seth could easily have broken out after 10 years. So I don't understand this punishment. You know, it just feels really dumb. You nodded at these words of mine, Aniara, in silence. But then you said, I was in a prison too, until just now. I'm sure it's true to be the only living survivor. I spent far too long time alone. I know what you mean. In the legend, members of the Whitewing clan are thought to live 1,000 years. But even if you were to live on for several centuries, as a sole survivor, you could never ever meet a female member of the clan with the White Wing and hope to make children with her. The clan will never rise again. The sole survivor must live out the remainder of his days alone. In order to conquer this unbearable loneliness, she said, I will need someone to make her way with me. Then you looked hard at me and said, Oh, pirate woman, are you not of the same mind? I nodded in agreement. But then I made a point of smiling and said as casually as I could, In your words, you're lonely. Your beautiful face softened as you said with some embarrassment, I wonder. According to legends as I have heard it, the clan of Whitewing are proud and love their solitude. This only increased your embarrassment, you said. Solitude has its limits. That did it. I decided to trust you then and there. Well, if that's how you feel, you should come right out and say it. I want company. Alright, companion. Companion? Exactly. Those decided. I'll team up with you. That ended with all hesitation. Just as you saw me one to make your way together with, put my full trust in you. Let's go wild on the high seas, I cried. Is that what make our way together means? You mean that I should become a pirate? You don't like the idea? You paused for space of one breath and chuckled softly. Always wanted to give it a try. No sooner were the words out of your mouth than you left it. With one bite, you cut through the thick chain that held me down. O wondrous beast Aniera, how descended the Whitewing clan. This was how you and I first met. In the 900 years since then, we raged over the open sea more wildly than ever before. When I stood on the prow of our pirate ship in search of prey, you were always there beside me. We became irreplaceable partners, friends, companions, family. I did not go to a thing. We just were reading from the title screens list. Gonna load the last save. And I did save back in New Morrow's port. I want to see if we can go this way. first. You know, it's like before we going. Don't want to see if we can go and... Oh, okay, no, we can't. He's angry now, for sure. That's for sure. Blame General Kanaka's stupid tank. Been letting us through here for a good while. We're trying to pit the big one. The old man has stood by it ever since. Well, can't go back that way. No, we've already done all this stuff. Let us go and see if we can go through to, go back to the main city. I doubt it, but you never know. Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, this is now, this stuff now shows up, now that we have done this. Oh, we can't go to Numara City. Okay. Let's head to the southern coast of Tosca. Land here. Oh. Oh, okay. Head to... And welcome to Tosca. Oh, they have a statue of those guys. That's adorable.
Look, it's Kyle.
Oh, hey, okay, so Kai's popular.
Hey, everybody! Kyle's back! It's good to see you again, Kyle. But you haven't changed a bit.
Well, fuck. Don't tell me you're leaving already. So long since your last visit. Don't go just yet. Okay, nice to have you here. Things haven't changed, but haven't changed around here, don't you think? Okay, so yeah, this is where the next cutscene will take place. Can't go to Gotsa without traversing through the cave. With things the way they are these days, sealing off is the right thing to do. Okay, so we'll probably do that in a little bit, deal with that in a little bit. Check this for a seed. Oh, hey, Kai. You're Kai, right? My grandfather told me all about you. He gave this to me as a keepsake. Really valuable to us, but it's what you use to protect our village, right? So here, Kai. I want to return it to you. Obtain magic powered locator level 1. Hey, Kai, try it out now. I've hidden a treasure somewhere inside the village. See if you can find it. Here's a hint. It's hidden somewhere way up high. It's yours if you can find it. A treasure that's really high up lies in Tosca. This is our main side quest for this chapter. Because apparently that's what the guide says. I'll just remember something. Using the magic-powered locator, you'll be able to look for treasures hidden all over the world. But to find those treasures, you must obtain information on the whereabouts of those treasures. Once you get information on a treasure, it will appear on the treasure screens in the item menu. It's really weird that it's part of the item menu. I mean, it makes sense, but it's really weird, you know? When you have your magic-powered locator information, there will be a glowing point on a navigation map when you enter the area which the treasure is hidden. The treasure is hidden at the glowing point. Search for it in a nearby area. You increase the output of the magic-powered locator, enabling you to find a lot more treasure than with level 1 locator. Nope. So we automatically see this. Let's climb this ladder and get that treasure. That was very easy. Dark crystal staff and dark crystal ring. Interesting. Okay, we can't do anything, but we can't see what the ring does. Let's see that. So, wind level 2, magic killer, and terror effect level 1. Not bad. That's not bad. Is there an ultra version of that we can make now? Oh, I don't think we've made this, so we'll do that. Hold on. Oh, we've never made the magic ring. Ultra. We never made this one. Let's see, let's see what else we can make. Bio ring, can we make ultra bio? Yes, we can. Kalo ring, ultra, spirit. Yes, okay, so all those are done. Elemental one. Yep, we can make literally everything we can right here. That's fine. Status. Nope, nothing else special. Good for that. Alright, cool. We'll check out our new stuff in a minute. Well, once we get the party back. We'll just head into that inn that Jensen's in front of. You know, I have some serious trouble believing that you actually lived here once before. Wow, Jensen. Wow. Starting to think that maybe you did know about that. Dick. Anyway. Let's actually go and explore right over here this time. I saw her, that old sorceress. Her face was a mess. She looked like a monster. There's definitely something wrong with that old woman, I tell you. I've been in my fair share of battles. One day, just as I swing my sword at someone, I suddenly thought, man, I wish I could have been a baker. I don't know why, that's funny to me. To me, this is basically just the kind of an equivalent of, I used to be an adventurer like you, but then I took an arrow to the knee. I should do Skyrim sometime, you know? I have no idea how a thought like that came to me. After that battle, I quit the army. I've been making my living baking bread ever since. Oh, hey, so okay, so this is the dream for this, for here. Cool. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, there's two here. There's two here. Actually, there's three here. There's three here. But I don't think we can do the second one yet. The hero was home from the war. He had performed gallantly on the battlefield, advanced to the rank of general, and made a triumphal entry into the village of his birth. The villagers welcomed him with a festive celebration. The grown-ups were treated to drinks beginning in the afternoon, and the children received sweet confections. The cattle and sheep were in the pastures that supported the villagers' livelihood, whether because they were excited in the usual commotion or were welcoming the hero in their own way. Sent especially shrill. Got to turn off my webcam. Shrill cries reverberating into the summer blue sky. You also didn't notice, but this was called the hero. That is the name of this dream. I don't know why it was on for just a second. General, you were pride of our village. Obviously, full of pride himself, the head of the village thrust out his chest as he delivered his congratulatory address in a welcoming ceremony. To think that the foremost hero in the army came from this tiny village is so incredibly exhilarating and gratifying. I am sure our ancestors are overjoyed as well. The throng crammed into the village's square burst forth with cheers and applause. According to official figures released by the army the other day, day, General, you brought down at least 2,000 enemy soldiers with your own hand. A thunderous roar shook the square. Come to think of it, the population of this village is less than 1,000. This means, sir, you managed to bury more than 2 of these villages, worth on your own. How fortunate for us that you were not on the side, not one of the enemy. By any chance there had been a warrior caliber on their side, we'd all be resting in a hilltop graveyard by now. A few of the women frowned momentarily at this remark, but men, full of liquor, responded with explosive laugh. Sitting stage center, the general slightly stroked his dignified beard. No one present knew that this was just happening whenever he was perplexed. When he left the village to join the army, he was an ordinary soldier, a long way from growing a beard. General, you truly are the savior of our army, and indeed our entire nation. I understand you'll be leaving for another battle tomorrow. We all hope that you will thoroughly enjoy yourself on this rare village visit to your birthplace. The village's chief ended his greetings and withdrew to the wing, whereupon the village's #1 entertainer bounded on the stage in the most comical way he could manage. Here, General, he cried, running over to where the great man was seated and going down on his knees. Oh, hear my plea. The general looked at him sternly. Is there any possibility that you would lend me the sword at your side, only for a moment? Perplexed though he was by all this, that is really hard to actually state sometimes. The general, impelled by the audience's applause and cheers, handed the man his tasseled and jewel-encrusted sword. The man bowed deeply as sword entered his outstretched hands. Outstretched hands, and again he cried, "My gratitude knows no bounds." Pretending to stagger under the weight of the sword, he came to the front edge of the stage and held the weapon aloft. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I will reenact the event that raised our dear general's fame to the heights in a single bound, when he hacked 18 of the enemy into teeny tiny bits. The audience cheered wildly, and the man, with exaggerated movements and commentary, swung the sword in a great arc. The audience knew exactly what he was doing. The general had not made a name for himself for his strategic prowess, but he's also widely acclaimed as a warrior on the battlefield. He did not rely slowly on his weapon, but in the end leveled his opponents with sheer physical strength. This too was a matter of utmost pride for the villagers. Here we go. 1 man down, 2 men down, flip the sword back, 3 men down. 4th man slides diagonally right through the shoulder, 5th man's head goes flying. Then 3 at once, 6th, 7th, and 8th man. What a bother, to skewer you like this. The man thrust the sword through 3 imaginary opponents, and the crowd went wild. General 2 broke into a smile and applauded. When he was still clapping, though, he stroked his beard again. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of imagining a younger version of either General Genryusai Yamamoto from Bleach, or a more human-sized Whitebeard from One Piece. That for some reason, the image of a younger version of one of those 2 men popped in my head when they're talking about the general. I'm sure you can understand how I felt at the time, sitting up on that stage, the old general says to Kaim before taking a sip of water from his leather pouch. His magnificent beard is completely white, so distant are the past events she's recounting. Why do we need to keep bringing up this goddamn beard? Okay. I'm sorry. I got distracted by a thing of Tom Fox going live, because I do follow him on Twitch, and his message is, "I'll finish this game eventually," in all caps. I'm gonna real quick check. I think he's playing I think he's playing Really? Really? I thought he finished that game. He's playing Fire Emblem Engage. I thought he finished that game. I thought he was done. That's why he had an LP of Path of Radiance going. Anyway, sorry, don't need to talk about that stuff. But hey, if you are checking, but if you do want a good guy to actually check out, Tom's a really good guy. God, he's damn good. I would love to meet him. He's one of the few people I would love to meet. Anyway, time nods in silence and the general continues, as if mulling over every word. The more you know about war, the more you feel that way. I'm sure the villagers meant well. They just want to pay homage. Homage to their hometown hero. No, of course, they weren't being the least bit malicious. My village has the nicest people in the world. Which is exactly why I found the whole thing so painful. I couldn't stand it after a while. Hacking 18 men to bits. The deeds of a hero are related in numbers. Surely the man who playfully swung the general's sword on stage at that day could never imagine the ones who lost their lives on the battlefield. The agonized expressions on their faces, the curse in their eyes as they stared into nothingness. That's alright too. People who live peaceful lives don't have to know about such things. It's what people like us are for. Keep their lives far away from battlefields. Don't you agree? Thanks to us and our killing of enemies, the people we're supposed to protect don't have to know anything about the bloodiness of war. Unless you believe that, what's the point of killing each other? Oh, Jimmy. I'm sorry about all the burping. I've kind of recently finished up eating lunch. Kime says nothing in reply. Without either affirming or negating the old general's words, he stares vaguely at the general's troops. What'd you say your name's? Kime? Those you killed more enemy soldiers than you can begin to count. There's no way I can count them all. Thought so. You have a flawless build, the kind that can only be tempered on the battlefield. Only man who survived one battle after another can carry himself the way you do with complete naturalness. How does a man like you find himself driving a horse cart over a mountain pass? Kime was ready to leave without answering if the old man asked him such a question. But the general inquires no further into Kime's background. Instead, there is a sense of relief in the smile bestowed on the side of Kime resting his horses at the pass. I was 16 the first time I went into battle. After that, I just kept running from one fight to another until I made it all the way to general. At first, I remember the faces of the men I crossed swords with and killed. Even though if you don't try to remember them, they get carved into your memory. I had terrible nightmares. Try as I might, I could never seem to wash off the stench of blood that splashed on my face and hands. There was hallucination, of course. That was hallucination. And for some reason, I know I'm reading that word right, but it's not sounding right. Hallucination. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Of course, but it got so bad once I spent a whole night in a river trying to wash myself off. The general paused a moment to think about his story, then went on. But after a while, you get used to it. You get used to fighting, killing, over again. Your body and your mind and your heart. You just get used to it. That's how people are. So I stopped having nightmares. I killed all the enemy soldiers I could lay my hands on. Got everyone their faces. And it's the same for you now too. Kime, isn't it? It's the same for you now too, Kime, isn't it? Maybe so. It's like a curse. You don't get used to it, your heart breaks. On the other hand, if you do get used to it, your heart probably ends up breaking someplace deeper down. The general cast a fond glance towards his resting troops. Then, slowly shifting his gaze far down the foot of the mountain, he says, "So that's what it was like for me back then, when I returned to my birthplace in triumph." For the final event of the welcoming ceremonies, several children mounted to the stage. And now, in honor of our hero, the children present to the general a floral wreath more marvelous, more marvelous than the greatest medal there ever was. The audience went wild again. When children put the wreath on his neck, the general favored them with a warm smile. The first honest smile from the heart that he managed since climbing onto the stage. And finally, as a special treat for the general, who is galloping from one field to the next from his far from his native place, the children's chosen representative will read his own original composition, spelling out the joys of peaceful life in the village. By the way, stay hydrated, folks. Even if you, yeah, it's like just even without being in the heat, I always keep even outside of summer, I always keep two water bottles. I always use I always have two water bottles with me when I stream. Just keeps you hydrated, you know. It's also why I have a reward for it too. Oh. Excuse me. With a look of grim intensity, a small boy, barely old enough to go to school, unfolded his composition and, gripping it in two hands, began to read aloud from it, straining to make himself heard. Sorry, I had something in my eye, and I just reached the poet. First, I'm going to write about one of the nicest things that happened to me. At my house, we have a pasture with lots of cows and sheep. One cow had a baby 2 days ago. I helped my daddy by stroking the cow's back the cow's back with a handful of straw while she was having the baby. That makes the cow warm up, so it's easier for her to give birth. The baby was born just before the sun came out. It was a tiny baby, but you could already stand on its own legs. A baby! Wow! I'm going to take care of this baby until it gets big. Here, little cow. Hurry up and grow up, okay? By the way, for those of you that are wondering, that are thinking, oh hey, I'm probably when I go on like a small little tangent, like a few of the stuff, you're probably thinking I'm bored. Let these end. No, I'm not. That's basically my autism. All right, that's my autism. I know we're basically what 6 sessions into this and 19 parts into the separate things. But yeah, no, don't worry. I'm not bored of these stories. I like this. The general had tears in his eyes. Now I'm going to write about one of the saddest things that happened to me. That was when my grandma got sick and died. She was such a nice grandma. I know her sickness made her feel bad, but she was always smiling when I was around. She let me hold her hand when she died. I watched her face the whole time because I knew I wouldn't be able to see her anymore. I wanted to remember her even after I grow up. She's just smiling and smiling from me right to the very end. That's why she's always smiling when I think of her. You're looking down at me from the sky, Grandma. I will never forget you as long as I live. Tears were streaming down the general's face. When the ceremony ended, the general left his village and headed for town where army headquarters were located. There, he wrote a long letter to the king and gave a sword to his most trusted lieutenant. The general had decided to retire. This is the biggest surprise to me as it was to anybody. When I heard that little boy say, it occurred to me. What makes this really human is to celebrate each life that comes into the world and mourn each life that is lost. I didn't need medals anymore. I didn't need the honor of being allowed into the presence of His Majesty anymore. I wanted to be a real human being again. As a result, overnight went from being the village hero to being reveled as a traitor. The general turns to face Kime and asks, "So, are you going to mock me as a coward who ran away from the battlefield? Or blame me for being a deserter who betrayed his own patriotism?" Kime turns a gentle smile onto the old man. "Neither," he says. "As a soldier, you made the wrong decision. As a human being, you made the right one." The general strokes his beard and says, "My habit has changed too. Nowadays, I find myself stroking my beard when I'm embarrassed." The two men look at each other and smile. "Okay, back to work," says General, standing with a grunt. He calls out his troops. "All right, men, it's all downhill from here. Let's give it one last push and get back to the village before sunset." The troops under the general's command consists of 30 sheep, not one of whom is likely to take a person's life. "Tell me, Kime, are you planning to go back to the battle at some point?" "I don't really know," he replies. "I'm content with turning sheep for now," the general says. "I don't have the least regret for the decision I made that day. It makes me happy to think this could be kind of lesson to you." With his parting remark, the general turns away from Kime and begins walking. The sheep ramble among after him in newly reformed ranks. Standing at attention, the general raises his right arm and waves his troops on. "Forward, march!" Man who once delivered to tens of thousands of men, the battlefield now echoes pleasantly among the mountains of the native village. Ooh. Treasure be... Oh! Yeah, I knew there was something behind there, because, like, why would we do that? So let's see what gives us. Medusa's head. I think I know what that is, and we're probably going to have to be grinding for that a lot. Yep. Anti-petrify. Yeah, this game has petrify. And we're going to be grinding for this. Once we get everyone back in, we're going to be going and grinding for it. We either go to the next dungeons, to the next spot with enemies, or back to the Crimson Forest. Either way, we're getting this onto Kime and onto Kime, Seth, and Ming ASAP. I still want to explore the village, so we'll go past. So we'll do this. Got anything? No, you don't got anything. Oh, is there something up here? I'm stealing your stuff. Seed. I stole your seed. I stole your flower bomb. RPG hero. I get to steal whatever I want, whenever I want, whenever I see it. Let's go into this house. Stealing your stuff. Stealing your stuff. Seeds of Terror. That's gotta be for the terror ring, right? Concealment. Ah, no, not yet. Interesting. We need a lot of sticky tape for the starting ones of these. Wow. I see that. Okay. This, yeah, Pipod is what we give the seeds to. We won't give it a thing though. Yeah, Pipop is what we give the seeds to. I think the next we'll give it. Yeah. Okay. Lame. Kilolon is the guardian spirit of the village, but I have to be good or else he won't protect me. Okay, so that's gonna exit out. Healing tank. Hold on. I'm in near the mill. We do have at least two other things. There we go. There we go. The truth is, I was drafted. We drafted into the Goatson army. But I slipped off my roof while I was fixing it. So this just me as ineligible for battle. But I'm glad you're not going to war. I'd be all by myself without you. We do have one more though in this spot. But I think we'll have to return to that. There's no way to keep the village from becoming a battlefield. The enemy forces have crossed the northern pass and made their camp close by. The home forces are here too, sending one unit after another into the village to resist the enemy's attack. The place is a powder keg. Ringed by mountains where two highways intersect, the village is a crucial focal point for transport. It cannot be allowed to fall into enemy hands, while its capture is essential to any hope the enemy might have for victory in the war. Long years of fighting come down to this one major battle. It is a battle that must be waged. The logic is clear, simple, inevitable. It will transform this tranquil village into a battlefield at any moment. The army has ordered the villagers to evacuate. Non-combatants can only get in the way. The enemy wants to settle this before the weather turns cold. Who does that mean? Another month? 2 weeks? Die your stuff pack? No sense getting caught in the middle and killed. Talk about dying for nothing. Better forget about taking pots and pans with you. Pack as light as you can and get away as far as you can. Think of all the generations our ancestors guarded. Let me reread that in a minute. Oh, a second. Think of all the generations our ancestors guarded our houses and land. I hate to think it's going to turn to wasteland when the fighting starts. There's nothing we can do about it. Just plain bad luck plain bad luck. That's all. We just have to hang in there until the war is over and come back when we can find out who won. The main thing to do is get out now. Right, that's all we can do. We've got to stay alive. Better not hope for anything more than that. Why don't this have to happen to us? The villagers leave a few at a time, beginning with the first ones to find temporary shelter. By the time the floor is slightly tinged with red, the village is practically deserted. The only ones left are old folks who live alone and have no one and no place to run to. The only ones are left. No. The army has built a crude refugee camp for any evacuees able to cross several mountains. Reach it. These poor stray. The aged poor stagger in with little more than clothes on their back. The only one left in the village is Grandma Koto. The bread of Grandma Koto. Not when you think that. Not at the start. You'd think that a story about a grandmother's bread, huh? I'm actually surprised. I am legit surprised. Like, wow, why? As a mercenary, Kai first met old Koto shortly after he joined the unit protecting the village. He was on an inspection round. He was on an inspection round at the time when he spotted an old woman working the fields. She turned out to be Grandma Koto. The soldier yelled at her, "Hey, old lady, enough of that!" Their man shouted. "You better get out of here now if you want to stay alive. The fight's going to start in 2 or 3 days. How many times do I have to tell you to go to the damn refugee camp?" But old Koto stayed hunched over, digging in dirt. Obviously, she was not harvesting anything. If this had been a time when the grain had ripened and she was hurrying to harvest the crops, it might have made sense. But she was just turning the soil as if she had forgotten that a battle was about to start here at any moment. Is Zolbek deaf or just senile? With a disgusted look, Captain called over to Kime. Hey, new guy, do something about this one. Drag her to refugee camp, you have to tie a rope around her neck. Get her wandering around out here. She's just gonna get away when the fighting starts. The captain's tone is arrogant. The more cowardly a commanding officer is, the more arrogant and overbearing his style becomes, unless he's able to conceal his nervousness when a battle is nearing. Time Time strode silently out. Strode silently toward the woman in the field. We'll go on ahead, Captain called out behind him, but he did not turn around. Only a few days would be needed to decide the outcome of the battle for the village, which is a reflection of how violent it promised to be. For this reason, work in the fields now was pointless. Even the most carefully cultivated patch of ground would be crushed under soldiers' boots. Harvest next year was out of the question. Nor was even clear how many years it would take to restore the village to its former tranquility. When Kime approached her in the field, the old woman kept working instead. Don't try to stop me. She looked and sounded much tougher than she seemed from distance. She might have been one of those stubborn, cranky old folks that people kept their distance from when the village was at peace. You're not going to evacuate? Kime asked. What the hell for? She spat out. You build a camp you can go to. Old Koto gave a short snort and said, I don't know why I said short instead of snort. I don't know. And said to Kime, you're a new one. I've never seen you before. Yes. So you don't even know what the camp's like. Your soldiers have nothing to worry about. What do you mean? Old Koto said nothing but pointed towards the steep mountain, standing like a painted screen on the west side of the village. Shoot me. Kime asked, that where the camp is? Hell no. You have to walk across that mountain. I don't want to get to it. Only my age can walk that far. What's the way of building a camp in a place like that? How many old folks do they think are going to make it over there? Might as well leave out in the hills to die like in the old days. I was at a loss for an answer. Continuing her digging, the old woman grumbled. That's how the government does everything. She was clearly angry. Perhaps less angry than sad. You're on an inspection tour, right? Well, don't let me stop you. No, you see, you're not going to get me going to any damn refugee camp. That's all there is to it. I'm not going anywhere. This is the village I was born in. I've lived here all my life. I know how you feel. This place is going to turn into a battlefield. I know that. I know that. So what? So what? Time was at a loss for words again. When she saw that, she smiled and said, you're a sweet young man. Unusual in a soldier. Her expression softened for the first time. Once she stopped being so prickly, what she produced was actually quite endearing. When this place turns into a battlefield, people will die. Lots of them. I know that much. Don't worry. I have work to do, soldier boy. Telling me to leave my work and run away is like telling me to die. So I'm going to die anyway? It won't be long now. I want you to let me do what I want to do. You shouldn't have any problem with that. Time fell silent. Not because he was at a loss for words yet again, but because he believed she was right. I'm going to die anyway, she had said. Knowing that he would never be able to speak such words, he had no choice but bow silently to her will. Alright then, run along there, Sonny. I've got work to do. What are you doing now? Say for yourself. Sorry, but I don't know much about farm. Like all the other soldiers, old Koto said with a smile. The only thing you people ever think about is killing enemies. You don't know anything about nurturing life. She let a hint of sorrow show again. Perhaps someone taken time, however, she favored him an explanation. I'm planting seeds, she said. Grains of wheat. You sow them in fall, they mature over winter. Shoot up under the spring sun, and the fields turn golden in winter. Always do my planting when northern mountain peaks turn white. Every year. This year's not going to be any different. Will the seeds mature in the trampled fields? Time has doubts. Grandma Koto, however, displayed not the least anxiety or resignation as she scattered seeds in newly turned soil. Her hands performed the age-old ritual with ease and naturalness, as if to impress upon time the fact that what she was doing this year was nothing more or less than what she had done every year before. Stand up a little bit, real quick. Like, like, like we're trying to get impinged. As a result, Kime's next verse emerged with a smoothness that he himself found somewhat surprising. What if the seeds don't grow? Don't do it again next year. And if next year's bad, I'll do it again the year after that. You have to plant the seeds. That's how I've lived my life. Don't plant, nothing will grow. See what I mean? I think so. Whether there's a fight or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do what I have to do. That's all. She spoke with certainty, her wrinkled face softening the smile. She added, "Can't enjoy a meal if you don't know if you haven't done things right." Sorry about that. This was just realized I didn't check something, and I was just doing that. You're saying this is what gives your life its meaning? This was the question which time and long searched for an answer. For what purpose had he been born into this world? What was he supposed to accomplish here? He continued to roam through his life's endless journey without knowing the answers to these questions. Because he didn't know the answer. I don't know about deep stuff like that, Grandpa said shyly. I just know the wheat I've harvested. I don't know, and baked bread in the fall. The bread is really special. Nothing tastes as good as first bread you make with the wheat you grew that year. That's what my grandson looks forward to every year. I just can't decide to take a year off now, can I? See what you mean? No, you don't, she declared. Nothing but a damn soldier. Face turned harm again. There are no hurt more smiles for her that day. When time returned to the barracks, a soldier who had been stationed in the village for 6 months or more said to him, "The old bag hates our guts. Because we've ruined the village? That's part of it, I suppose. But it's got deeper roots than that for her." Grandma Koto lost her entire family to war. First, her husband died in the war 40 years earlier. Then her son and his wife in the war 20 years earlier. Now, the, only, the one grandson they had left was taking a fight in the current war. "What's his unit?" Time asked the soldier. The man he gave helpless shrug, named the unit, then sent to an area with most intense fighting. Oh, bad luck. Fighting up there's so bad if it was me, I'd take my chance of being executed for deserting under fire. Got maybe 50 chance of coming back alive. Nah, maybe 30-70. If her grandson were to be killed, Grandma Koto would be all alone in the world. She would have no one to feed her bread to. "It's tough to be left alone at that age," the soldier said. Looking at old Koto, I can't help but thinking my mother back home. There's no way I can let myself get killed. She'd never stop crying. Same for you too, eh, Kime? Kime said nothing in reply. He had no right to put himself in the same category as the soldier. The battle started 3 days later. The enemy's army attack was even fiercer than expected. The Fed's forces had no choice but to put everything they had in the fight. Kime slipped away from the battlefront and headed for Grandma Koto's house. He found her leaving for the field as always. She gave no sign that she was afraid of the fighting. People who know exactly what they must do and who refuse to be distracted by nothing else, by anything else, can be strong beyond all reason. Time now saw now that there could be a far greater strength in infinite life than one that lasted forever. Because he sensed so deeply, he stood before her, blocking her way. He lifted the tiny old woman in his arms and carried her bodily back to her house. What does that even mean? I've never heard that phrase before. What are you doing? Let go of me. I'm not going to follow some soldier's orders. I have work to do. Yes, I know that, Time said. So put me down now. I don't want to let you die. Holding her against his chest, he looked her in the eye and pleaded with her. She stopped flailing her arms and legs in a vain attempt to get free from his grip. She looked straight back at him as he said, as long as you have someone to feed your freshly baked bread to, I want you to keep baking bread year after year. Old Koto heaved a huge sigh and muttered, smiling, I knew you were a very strange soldier. The battle raged on for several days. The arrogant, cowardly captain died fighting. The soldier who timed the story, Grandma Koto, also died. Countless defense troops died. Countless enemy troops died. The village was consumed in the flames of war. Old Koto's field was ravaged under the heels of the military. Time sided managed to stave off the attackers and followed the retreating enemy to the north. All that remained in their wake was the empty, devastated village. The war ended as spring was giving way to summer. At the cost of massive casualties, the army repulsed the enemy's invasion. The village began to recover, little by little. As Grandma Koto had predicted, not one old person who crossed the mountains to the refugee camp came back alive. Autumn, and time was come back to the village. He feels warm in his chest as he looks across the fields and spots old Koto sowing wheat. So, he's doing it again this year. And the next year, and the year after that, for as long as she is alive. She notices Kime, crosses toward him a welcoming smile. A year has passed. He seems to have shrunk somewhat with a year's worth of aging. I haven't seen you for a while, she says. So, they didn't kill you. I'm glad to see you looking well, too. Are you staying near my house during the fight? But you single-handedly fought to keep enemy troops away from it. Kime gives her a shy smile. How was your wheat, he asks. All ruined, of course. Worst crop I've ever had. Used scrawny stalks. Barely enough for one loaf. He tells them all with a surprising ease. Then she fixes her eyes on him and asks, have some? What? Bread, of course. Jimmy. I'll make a loaf now if you'll help me eat it. Well, sure, but. Grandma Koto sees through Kime's hesitancy and says with a calm smile, yes, he's dead, my grandson. I got word at the end of summer. I was waiting and hoping, planning to make him a loaf of bread as soon as he got home. But she seems kind, hanging his head in silence. She adopts a spirited tone, so she has to be the one to cheer him up. I'm just standing up getting a sweatshirt off with my pants making me cold. Oh, turn it off. It's still summer. Alright? Alright? It's still summer. I want to keep my room cool. You know? Come on then. Eat what he would have had. Probably tougher than usual, but with the wheat harvest being so bad. But I'm sure my grandson would be happy to know I fed the bread to the man who saved my life. So, this old woman has lost her entire family to war. In other words, there's no one left to enjoy her bread. Still, Cheers is kind to wait just a minute while I finish this up, growing the wheat for next year's harvest. She does it because she's always done. Because that is what she's always done. Because it is what she's supposed to do. Time stops himself for speaking the words, "Let me out." And he stands staring at old Koto's bent back. In the glow of the setting autumn sun, he's sadly small, sadly beautiful. Time used to fresh, baked bread. Old Koto was right. Made from wheat grown was without its full measure of care. The bread is hard and dry and poor in taste. Still, of all the bread Kaim has eaten, and will go on to eat in his long, long life, this is by far the most delicious. Alright, so no, think anything. Hey, oh, this is where Kaim used to live.